No garden? You can still grow a surprisingly big vegetable harvest. A patio, balcony, deck, or small backyard can produce far more food than most people realize. But only if you stop treating containers like random pots and start treating them like a real food-growing system. Because here's the mistake that quietly ruins many container gardens. People choose a vegetable, put it into whatever container they have, add some soil, and hope for the best. That's not how you get a big harvest. In this video, we're building a productive container garden from the ground up. From choosing the right container and growing medium to selecting high-return crops, managing water and nutrients, and getting multiple harvests from limited space. And stay with me, because later I'll show you how to keep one container producing instead of letting it sit empty after the first harvest. If you want to grow more food with less space, subscribe to Grow Food Smarter, because we're about to build this garden from the ground up. Let's start with the foundation. The container is your root zone. When you plant in the ground, roots can spread outward and downward, searching for water, oxygen, and nutrients. A container is different. Eventually, the walls stop the roots. That's why a tiny seedling can look perfectly healthy in a tiny pot and then struggle as it matures. It didn't suddenly become difficult. It simply outgrew its home. For large crops such as tomatoes, choose a substantially larger container than you would use for herbs or radishes. Compact peppers, lettuce, and many herbs can work in smaller containers, while large tomatoes and vigorous cucumbers need considerably more room. So don't ask, "Can I grow this vegetable in a pot?" Ask, "Can this container support the mature version of this vegetable?" That question alone can prevent many container growing problems. Depth matters. Width isn't the only consideration. Root depth matters too. Carrots need enough depth for their roots. Potatoes need room for tubers. Large fruiting plants need enough growing medium to support their root systems. When choosing a container, think about the mature crop, not the tiny transplant you're putting into it today. And don't assume an expensive planter is automatically better. A suitable food-safe bucket, grow bag, tub, barrel, or simple planter can work extremely well if it is large enough for the crop and has proper drainage. Your container doesn't have to be beautiful. It has to be functional. Drainage can make or break the garden. Here's one of the most important rules in container gardening. Roots need water, but they also need oxygen. If excess water has nowhere to escape, the growing medium can stay saturated too long and create an unhealthy root environment. Before planting, inspect the bottom of the container. There should be adequate drainage holes. Don't block those holes with a solid layer of material, and if you use a saucer underneath, don't allow it to remain permanently filled with water. The goal isn't to keep your container soaked. It's to keep the root zone evenly moist while allowing excess water to drain away. Don't use heavy garden soil by itself. This is another major difference between growing in the ground and growing in containers. Even excellent backyard soil can become heavy and compacted inside a container. A quality container potting mix is designed to provide a better balance of water retention, drainage, and airspace. Look for a mix intended for containers. Depending on the product, it may contain materials such as coconut coir or peat, composted organic material, perlite, vermiculite, or similar components. Finished compost can also be useful. But remember, rich doesn't automatically mean productive. The growing medium needs the right structure as well as nutrients. Put your containers where the sun works for you. Before planting, observe your space. Where does direct sunlight fall? Which areas get the most sun? Give your best sunlight to crops that need it most. Tomatoes and peppers generally perform best with plenty of direct sunlight, while some leafy greens can tolerate less intense light depending on the crop, variety, and climate. So don't arrange containers only for appearance. Arrange them for production. Put high-value fruiting crops where they can capture the light they need, and use less sunny areas for crops that can tolerate those conditions. Don't forget wind and weight. If you're growing on a balcony or deck, remember that a large container filled with wet growing medium can be extremely heavy. A mature tomato plant can also become top-heavy. Make sure your setup is appropriate for the surface you're using, and if you're in a windy location, secure tall plants and supports properly. Design the garden around food. Here's the mindset that changes everything. Don't think, I have 6 pots, so I'll grow 6 plants. Think, I have 6 production spaces, how can I get the most food from them? That might mean one large container for a productive tomato, another for peppers, one with a trellis for cucumbers, several containers for fast-growing greens, and another for herbs or root crops. And instead of leaving a container empty after harvesting, plan what comes next. You're no longer just growing plants. You're designing a small food production system. Now we can move to the next question. Which vegetables deserve your limited containers? Because not every crop gives you the same return for the space it occupies. Choose crops that give you the best return. If you only have a few containers, you can't afford to waste them. The goal isn't to grow every vegetable imaginable. It's to choose crops that give you a strong return through harvest size, repeated production, speed, or efficient use of space. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most rewarding container crops, but they need enough room. For limited spaces, look for compact, bush, determinate, or container-friendly varieties. Large, indeterminate tomatoes can become enormous and require substantial support. On a small patio, a compact variety can give you a better balance between plant size and harvest. Give tomatoes a large enough container, plenty of sunlight, consistent moisture, and strong support. Don't judge container size by the size of the seedling. Judge it by the size of the mature plant. Peppers. Peppers are excellent for small spaces because many varieties remain relatively compact while producing repeatedly. That's exactly what you want from a container. You don't need a huge plant. You need a plant that produces useful food without consuming your entire growing area. Choose compact varieties when available and give them a sunny position. A few productive pepper plants can become some of the most valuable containers in a small garden. Cucumbers. Cucumbers become much more useful in a small space when you stop allowing them to spread across the ground. Give them a sturdy trellis. Now you're using vertical space. This is one of the most important principles in container gardening. Don't only grow outward. Grow upward. A single container can occupy a small patch of floor while the vines use several feet of vertical space above it. Just make sure the support is strong and secure enough for the mature plant. Bush beans. Bush beans are another strong choice. They're relatively compact and can provide repeated harvests. They also fit nicely into succession planting. Instead of planting everything at once, you can stagger crops so different containers reach harvest at different times. That creates a more continuous supply. Lettuce and spinach. Leafy greens are valuable because you don't always have to wait for the entire plant to finish before harvesting. You can harvest individual leaves and allow the plant to continue growing. They're also useful for filling containers between larger crops. But pay attention to temperature. Lettuce, for example, can struggle in hot conditions and may bolt. Match the crop and variety to your growing season. Radishes. Radishes are valuable in small gardens because they're relatively quick, and speed creates another form of productivity. Imagine one container. You grow radishes. You harvest them. Then, when conditions allow, you use that same container for another crop. You're not measuring productivity by one harvest. You're measuring it by what that container produces over time. Carrots. Carrots can work well in containers, but variety selection matters. If your container isn't very deep, don't choose a variety that develops extremely long roots. Shorter or round-rooted varieties can be much more practical. Again, choose the crop to fit the container, not the other way around. Potatoes. Potatoes are interesting because they let you use growing volume below the surface. A large grow bag or suitable container can provide room for tubers while using relatively little horizontal space. They're useful when you're trying to produce food from a small footprint. Just remember that a container filled with growing medium can become very heavy, so choose the location carefully. Herbs. Don't overlook herbs. Basil, parsley, chives, thyme, cilantro, and similar herbs can provide a lot of kitchen value from very little space. You may not harvest kilograms of herbs from one container, but if you use them regularly, that small container can become one of the most useful spaces in your garden. Think in return per container. Here's the bigger lesson. Don't simply count plants. Count production opportunities. A container with one compact pepper plant may be more valuable than a container crowded with several plants competing for water and nutrients. A cucumber climbing upward may use far less floor space than one sprawling across the patio. A fast-growing radish crop, followed by leafy greens, can produce more food over the season than a container planted once and forgotten. And a productive tomato may deserve more space than several low-yield plants because of the amount of food it can provide. So when planning your garden, ask, how much space does this crop need? How quickly can I harvest it? Can I harvest it repeatedly? Can it use vertical or succession space? The crops that answer those questions well should receive priority. Now your containers have a purpose. But even the right container and the right crop won't guarantee a big harvest. The final piece is management. That's where we turn your collection of containers into a system that keeps producing. Turn containers into a high-productivity food system. A productive container garden doesn't happen because you planted the right vegetables once. It happens because you keep the plants supplied with what they need and keep the containers working. Let's start with the resource containers lose fastest. Water. Water consistently. Containers generally have less available moisture than the ground, and during hot or windy weather, they can dry out surprisingly quickly. So don't water according to a rigid schedule. Check the growing medium. If it is drying too much, water thoroughly. Aim to moisten the root zone rather than simply wetting the surface, then allow excess water to drain. The goal is consistency. Avoid letting the container become extremely dry and then flooding it. And remember that small containers usually dry faster than large ones. Feed the plant, not just the soil. In a container, the plant has a limited supply of nutrients. Harvesting removes nutrients from the system, and water moving through the container can carry some away. So container vegetables generally benefit from regular feeding during active growth. Use a fertilizer appropriate for vegetables and follow the product's instructions. Don't assume that doubling fertilizer will double the harvest. Too much can damage plants. The goal is steady nutrition, not maximum fertilizer. Watch for root restriction. A container can look healthy from the outside while the roots become tightly restricted underneath. If roots are heavily circling, emerging from drainage holes, or the plant is drying out unusually quickly, the container may be too small. This is why choosing the right container from the beginning is easier than trying to rescue an oversized plant later. Support before the plant falls. Don't wait until your tomato or cucumber becomes a tangled mess. Install supports early. For tomatoes, that might mean a cage or stake. For cucumbers, a sturdy trellis. Early support keeps the plant organized and makes fruit, airflow, and harvesting easier. And again, you're gaining productivity without taking more floor space. Mulch the container. A suitable layer of mulch can help slow evaporation from the growing medium, especially during hot weather. Keep mulch away from direct contact with the plant stem. You're protecting the root zone, not creating a constantly wet area around the stem. Harvesting is part of production. Here's a surprisingly important habit. Harvest regularly. For crops that produce repeatedly, leaving mature produce on the plant for too long can work against continued production. Beans, cucumbers, peppers, herbs, and other crops often reward regular harvesting. Don't wait until everything is enormous. Harvest at the appropriate stage for the crop and let the plant continue producing. Succession planting is how you get more from less. Now we're getting to one of the most powerful techniques in this entire system. Imagine you have 8 containers. You could plant all 8 once and wait for them to finish. Or you could plan a sequence. Fast crop, harvest, next crop, harvest, next crop. The exact sequence depends on your climate and season, but the principle is universal. Don't let productive space sit empty unnecessarily. A container that finishes producing radishes might later hold leafy greens. A finished lettuce container might become another suitable seasonal crop. A harvested bean container might be replanted when conditions allow. You're using the same piece of space multiple times. That's how a small garden can produce more than its physical size suggests. Refresh the container. After a crop finishes, don't simply pull out the old plant and immediately assume the container is ready for another heavy-feeding crop. Remove old roots and plant debris. Inspect the growing medium. Refresh it when needed with appropriate fresh container mix, finished compost, or nutrients according to your growing system. Over time, the structure and nutrient balance of container media can change. Treat your growing medium as a resource that needs management, not something you use once and forget. The 5 mistakes that quietly reduce your harvest. Let's make this simple. Number 1. Containers that are too small. The plant may survive, but production suffers. Number 2. Poor drainage. The root environment becomes unhealthy. Number 3. Heavy garden soil. The container can become compacted and poorly drained. Number 4. Inconsistent watering and feeding. The plant spends energy dealing with stress instead of producing. Number 5. Wasted space. No trellis. No succession planting. No plan for what happens after harvest. And this is the biggest mistake of all. Growing plants instead of growing food. Those are not always the same thing. A beautiful container garden can still produce very little. A productive container garden is designed around harvest. Your big harvest container checklist. Before you start, make sure your containers are large enough for the mature crops. Every container drains properly. You're using a quality growing medium. Your highest value crops receive the best sunlight. You've selected compact or container-friendly varieties where appropriate. Tall and climbing crops have support. You have a plan for watering and feeding. You are watching for root restriction. You're using mulch where appropriate. You're harvesting regularly. And you've planned what will occupy each container after the first crop finishes. Because that's the difference between having pots full of vegetables and having a productive container food garden. You don't need a huge backyard. You don't need perfect ground soil. And you don't need dozens of raised beds. You can start with a few well-chosen containers and make every one of them count. Use the sunlight. Use the vertical space. Use the root zone. Use the growing season. And most importantly, use the same container more than once, whenever your climate and crops allow it. That's how you turn a patio, balcony, deck, or small backyard into a serious food-growing space. So the next time you look at an empty corner and think, I don't have enough room for a vegetable garden, look at it differently. You may not need more land. You may simply need a better system. If this video helped you rethink what's possible with containers, subscribe to Grow Food Smarter for more practical ways to grow more food with less space. And tell me in the comments, how many containers would you start with if you were building your own food garden today? Because you don't need a huge garden to grow a big harvest. You just need to make every container count.